with his nose. I wonder if he's gone into the fight with a bit of a cold. It looks as though, man.
Yeah, well, that's the last thing you need, isn't it, for a pressure fighter who has to work a lot to be struggling to breathe.
Nice left hand from Britsch.
He's boxed well.
He had his moments early in the round, didn't he? But the further it went, the more Britsch was picking him off with the cleaner shots. Main event still to come following this one, the IBF Cruiserweight title. The crowd pleasing Cuban Juan Pablo Hernandez against Hook. Into the second half of the fight here. There's a persuasive argument that Britsch has won all 6 so far.
I definitely think he has.
Well, last one was close, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I just think he's doing more, he's throwing more punches, John, doing more, landing with more shots. Still got a lot of bounce in his step as well, John, which is a worrying sign for Santos.
The old Benidorm Tiger needs to show. And if he is less than 100% here, it might just explain why he's not been able to produce. Not enough, needs to sustain that. This is better from Santos, big effort here.
But he needs to find some more momentum in his work, doesn't he, John? When he lands, he needs to keep rolling forward. But credit to Britsch, every time he does take a few shots, he comes back with his own little flurries.
Well, it's not been the most eye-catching fight of all time.
No, John, it's not.
Interesting, but not a huge amount more so far, because Santos has just not been able to produce what he showed in the first fight. Not yet.
No, it looks like to me he's feeling a little bit sorry for himself, John.
Santos did get through to the head there.
And a hook to the body as well, I think, John.
This has been Roberto Santos' best round so far, and he's finishing strong. 7th round. Are we seeing the tide begin to turn? This is Bell, great body shot, and he's gone down to the left hook. The body shot putting him down, and what a turnaround! What a turnaround! The bell's about to be sounded.
John, he was coming on strong at the end, and he hurt him with the left hook to the body just prior to that, didn't he?
Well, that was a real hurt shot, and that's going to stay with him.
It will, yeah. That minute won't be enough to recover. He's going to be plenty mobile now when he gets out there.
What a turnaround we could have, just when it was starting to look as though it was going to be some sort of a walk in the park for Britsch. That's the beauty of boxing. It only takes one.
He took a good right hand first, John, to be honest. That was the first left hook to the body that we mentioned. And this is a few seconds later. Well, it's the same one again, I'm afraid.
That was a solid right hand. I think the gum shield came out there. There's the body shot. And it was another one after that.
Yeah, that put him down.
Put him down.
But I didn't catch that right hand the first time he threw it. I just thought it was the left hook to the body. So,
well, Santos is looking to finish this right now, right here. He's come out and he's been told by his corner, stay on him, and now let's take the opportunity. And Britsch is now having to fight on instinct. Oh, good uppercut from Santos. Whoa, what a turnaround this has been. And Santos is looking to end this fight right now. This is the big gamble. Body shot again, right on the target. It's all over. Daniel van der Wiel has ended the fight. He stopped Britsch on his feet in the 8th round. A remarkable turnaround. Roberto Santos looked as though he was being systematically outboxed, but in that 7th round, he got into range, got the knockdown, and then in the 8th, he followed up his work. And bitter disappointment for the German, and what a moment of celebration. Roberto Santos has moved up a level, and fair play, he did something which I didn't really see coming. He turned that fight right around and ultimately absolutely did a number.
And it looked like being a totally one-sided fight. And then all of a sudden he catches Britsch with a good right hand, left hook to the body, drops him before the bell, and Britsch never really had that minute, wasn't enough for him to recover, and he came out in that 8th round and he was on him.
And for a long time, Britsch has been somebody who's been groomed for stardom, supposedly, but this is how the end came. Big punishment being piled on by Santos. That's a massive uppercut. The referee, and a very experienced referee, was right on the mark. Perhaps a few people in the crowd thought that the stoppage was premature, but he was taking some big, big shots, Murray.
Yeah, he was, John, and even though it seemed an unusual time to...
And fair play to Santos, he just sustained the attack. That was that left hook, which was right on the mark from where he'd been put down in the previous round. It was sort of repeat, here, have some more of that. It was right on the spot, and he is bitterly disappointed.
Well, he was boxing well, Britsch, wasn't he? He was a clear winner, he was boxing well, he was boxing like the prospect we thought he was. But all fair due to Santos, he didn't box great throughout the fight. But it's all about the result, isn't it, John? And he got the result.
Yep, 30 years old, and it has been a long time coming, but now he is the EU middleweight champion. And for Dominick Britsch, undefeated in 6 years as a professional, it's now back to the drawing board. I think his nose has gone there. I wonder whether they might fancy another go at Santos somewhere down the line. Roberto Santos in the first fight felt that he had Britsch's number. Here's confirmation.
Hier kommt das offizielle Urteil. Ringrichter Daniel van der Wiel aus Belgien stoppt den Kampf in Runde 8 nach 45 Sekunden. Und damit Sieger durch TKO und neuer EU-Champion im Mittelgewicht, New European Union Champion in Middleweight Division. From Spain, aus Spanien, Roberto Santos.
A performance sportingly applauded by the crowd and indeed by his beaten opponent, Dominick Britsch. They say it's tough to go to Germany and get a verdict. Roberto Santos didn't need one, stopping Dominick Britsch, and now the EU middleweight champion.
Okay, Britsch there. Well, it was going so well, Steve-O, for a while. Then he just seemed to turn it on at the start of the penultimate round, and then, well, just seemed to fall apart.
I thought he was going to win this time. I thought if either of them was improving, it would be Britsch. And it looked that way for 6 3/4 rounds. He was winning the round, until he got hurt by the body shot.
Well, the right hand first.
Before that, when his gum shield come out.
Struggling
then
to
the
put
body shot that dropped him, and then he went back to the corner. I think you spotted then. He looked pretty reluctant.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
He come out, and I thought Daniel van der Wiel was a little bit too brave in that 8th round.
Well, he was close enough. So what I'm thinking is when he actually stopped it, it wasn't... When he actually stopped it, it was no different than the previous 30 or so seconds. I think what Daniel got himself into a position to do was actually look this close to his eyes. And I think if you have a look at it now, we might be able to see that. He's taking a lot of punches, and Daniel's poised, as you can see. But what he's doing at this point, that was the same shot. Daniel comes into vision there. Is Daniel's looking in Britsch's eyes.
Yeah,
he's not looking at what Santos is doing.
And as you say, Steve, actually he is still concentrating on Santos.
Yeah.
And
he looks... I'm going to use the word reluctant. There's a few other words I could use. I think at this point, our unbeaten German, Dominick, had enough, son.
10, 11 punches there, unanswered, 13. That one missed.
Well, the first thing that strikes me about Santos, Steve, is that he would make an awful good opponent for someone like Billy Joe Saunders.
He's a handful. You know, he's a risk. He's one of those sort of guys. Who was the unbeaten Italian lightweight who came over in January? The guy that come over here who had